So guys, you must have heard that the rare shock absorbers are not restorable, you can't apply paint on them, or it's very difficult to restore them. But what is the truth? Can we restore these rare shock absorbers? Can we paint them? That we will see in this video, guys. My name is Ryson and welcome to Ryson's Spray Booth. It is going to be a very interesting video, guys, so see that you like the video now only, and if you are coming on this channel for the first time, see that you subscribe and press that bell icon so that you will not miss any of my future videos. So come on, let's start the video. So guys, this is a Royal Enfield and my rear shock is slightly rusted here, and the paint on this rear shock absorber is also coming out because of scaling. So I am going to restore this shock, guys. So before I take the shocks out from the bike, wherever my shock is chromed, on all those parts I will use a buffing pad attached to a grinder, and I will buff the chrome and bring the shine back. Now in this video, guys, I am going to show you the power of masking, why masking is important, and how with the help of the masking you can restore things like this. So here my top part of the shock absorber is chromed, my spring is also chromed. Now I am buffing this shock absorber without taking out from the bike. It is because, guys, when the shock is on the bike, it becomes easy to do the buffing, because I have put this buffing pad on my grinder, and how fast the grinder rotates, you guys know that already. This is one of my favorite tool, guys, but it is also a very dangerous tool. That is the reason why if you have put the buffing pad on the grinder and if you are buffing with the grinder, then you should be extremely careful, guys. See that you wear your gloves as well. I have not put my gloves here, but you don't do that mistake, guys. If you are using a grinder, then see that you wear your gloves. So once I'm done doing the buffing, the next thing that I will do is I will take these shocks out from the bike. So I'm going to restore both the shocks, guys. So see that you don't skip the video even a bit, because in between the video I give lots of insights. I discuss many techniques in between the video, guys. So if you skip the video, then you will miss the technique which I discuss in the middle of the video. Then you will comment below and ask me how to do it, when I have already discussed that thing in the video. So see that you don't skip the video even a bit. So guys, as you can see that this is my shock absorber. Now wherever there is paint on the shock absorber, there also my buffing pad touched. That I will first only tell you. Now the paint was already peeling off, and when the buffing pad touched it, it came out all the more. So the next thing that you should be doing is sanding, guys. And you guys know how important sanding is. If you are following my channel for a long time, then how important sanding process is, you guys should know that already. So I am going to apply paint on the top part of the shocks, guys, and I am going to apply paint on the bottom part of the shocks as well. So I will do proper sanding on both the spots. Now while doing the sanding process, you will have to keep in mind that your sandpaper should not touch the chrome parts, guys. If by mistake you sand the chrome part, then that part will start to rust. So you will have to be extremely careful here, guys. If you can't be careful, then you can even cover that part with tapes or plastic, but you should make extremely sure that your sandpaper should not touch the chrome parts. Now sometimes some things don't go even after sanding, guys. If you are done with the sanding process, and if you feel that some paint is still not coming out like this, which is already coming out because of scaling, then for this type of paint, you can use a metal wire disc that you can attach to your drill, and you can use this style to do the sanding and to take out this type of paint. This is another technique to get your work done faster. So once you are done taking out all the paint, and once you are done doing the proper sanding, the next thing that you should be doing is use pressured air and blow out all the dust which has been created through sanding. And once you blow out all the dust, the next thing that you should be doing is masking. Now masking plays a very important role here, guys. The better masking you will do, the better finish you will get here. So take a proper masking tape like this. This is a automotive masking tape, guys. This is not the masking tape that you get in the local market. If you will use the masking tape that you get in the local market, then all your paint will bleed through. What I mean is, it will go inside of the tape and it will ruin your entire finish. Even I have done this mistake, guys. When I was just starting out, I used the wrong masking tape and my entire paint job was ruined. Then I did some research to find out where I will get a proper masking tape, a automotive masking tape. I searched everywhere and finally I found it. And now I buy my masking tape only from that shop. So like this little bit of research you will have to do, guys. Because when it comes to automotive painting, you need the right things, because if you use the wrong things, then you will not get proper results as well. When we are just starting out, we feel that why we need a special tape. This tape looks fine and I think it should work. But when you do that, guys, and once you finish your paint job, and when you realize that your paint bleed through, and when you see that your finish is ruined, then you start thinking that so much money you spend on the paints, on the materials, these are expensive materials guys, and not to forget all the hard work and efforts that you put in. And after doing all of that, just because you used the wrong type of tape, your finish is now ruined. So see that you don't do this mistake. Always use the right things. So once you are done with the masking guys, as you guys can see, my shock absorber looks something like this. All the chrome parts which are there on the shock absorber, I have hidden all those parts by putting a plastic and doing the masking. And now my shock absorber is ready to apply the primer. So now I will mix my primer. Now guys, when it comes to a primer, then you get many types of primers. You even get cheap primers. You will even get expensive primers. So what is the difference guys? Depending on what type of surface you are applying the primer, on that it depends what type of primer you should be using. What I mean by that is, on bare metal you should be using one type of primer. On top of the body filler you should be using one type of primer. And when you use cheap type of primers guys, then your job gets done very cheap. But that primer guys is so horrible primer. That primer fails to do a good bonding with the surface. And that is the reason why very soon that primer starts to come out from the surface. Now all these things I teach inside of my course guys. When you should be using what type of primers, how to mix the paints, how to mix the primers, how to set up your spray gun, what type of compressor you will need, how to set up your compressor. I have shown all these things step by step inside of my course guys. So if you want to do your own paint jobs and if you want to acquire quality results, then I have put a link of my course in the description below. If you want to start your journey in the autobody and painting industry, then see that you don't waste any time guys. Go down below and get yourself enrolled. And I will see you guys on the inside. So don't waste your time guys in starting your autobody and painting journey. So here I have already started to spray the primer on my shock absorber. Now here you should know your plan already guys. How you will hold the shock absorber and you will apply the paint. And after applying the primer, will you be able to keep the shocks down? If you can, then how you will keep all these things you should plan beforehand. So guys, I'm going to apply 2 coats of primer here. I'm applying 2 coats here because when you apply 2 coats, it becomes very good to do the sanding on the primer. And even after doing the sanding guys, your metal will not get exposed. So I will be applying 2 coats here, and when I am done applying the primer on one shock absorber, just watch how I keep this shock absorber on the table. As you guys can see how I have kept this shock absorber on the table. Wherever I have applied the primer, that surface is not touching anyway guys. I had planned this first only guys, how I would keep the shocks. That is the reason why I was able to keep it nicely and without any hesitation. So like this guys, you should be having a plan first only. After applying the primer, how you will keep the parts. So guys, here I am done applying my first coat. Now I will allow it to dry for some time and then I will apply the second coat. So here I will start to apply the second coat guys. And now when I am applying the primer, I will give you the in-person view guys. What I mean by that is, when you will be applying primer on anything, then you will get this view. Now on this view you can see how the shocks look like in your hands and how you can spray on these shocks. So once I am done applying this coat, I will give the shocks one day to dry, and tomorrow again I will start with the sanding process, and once I am done with that I will apply the paint. So guys, here my one day is up and my primer is totally dry now. And again I have started with the sanding process on these shock absorbers. I will not take out the masking guys. I will keep the same masking, and on top of that I will apply my single stage black paint. So let's see what happens. But the main thing here is, you should not miss any of the spot while doing the sanding, if you want your paint to get a good bonding with the surface. So once you are done with the sanding thoroughly, let's see how the shock absorbers look like after doing the sanding process. And as you guys can see, after doing the sanding process, this is how my shock absorber look like. So the next thing that I will do is, I will blow out all the dust with pressured air which has been created through sanding. And the next thing is, I will wipe my shock absorbers with wax and grease remover. Once I wipe them thoroughly, I will go ahead to mix the paint. So here I am using a single stage paint guys. Single stage paint means it will directly come glossy. There is no need to apply clear coat on top of this. This will turn hard and give good protection to my surface. So in this goes hardener and reducer, which I have already added. Now I will mix the mixture well, and I will put the mixture into the spray gun cup. So here I will be using my touch-up spray gun because it is a very small surface and I don't want to waste my paint guys. So once I am done putting the paint inside of the spray gun cup, the next thing that I will do is, I will set up my PSI, I will set up my spray pattern, and now I am ready to spray the paint. So here I have already started to spray the paint on the shock absorbers, as you guys can see. And how nice and glossy it is looking, you guys can see that already. This is a single stage paint guys. This will directly come glossy and it will turn hard and give good protection to my shock absorbers. So I will be applying 2 coats of this as well, and once I'm done applying both the coats, then we will see the final look of these shock absorbers. Now you guys have experienced it already guys, that you can even restore this type of shock absorbers. But it is a very technical job guys. You will have to do the masking properly. To do the masking it takes a lot of time as well. So if you feel that your shock absorbers are in good condition and they can go on for many years from now, and the only thing that has happened is the paint on top of those shock absorbers is spoiled and is coming out, then you can restore your shock absorbers like this guys. And once you restore them, then you know what type of paint you have used on this shock absorber, which quality products you have used, which quality primer you have used. All these things you will know because you have done your own paint job guys. Because when you give your parts to somebody else to do the paint job, then you don't know what type of product they are using. And when you use good quality products guys, then the paint and the surface will remain good for a long time. Even your shocks can get damaged due to bad performance, but your paint job will still remain intact. So once I'm done with the paint job, I will give 1 day for these shocks to dry completely, and tomorrow I will put these shocks on my bike. So before we see the final shots of the shock absorber, if you found this particular video useful guys, then see that you like and share with your friends and family. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then see that you subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon so that you will not miss any of my future videos. Till then, I will meet you guys in another informative video on the same channel. So bye and take care. But before you go, come on, let's see the final shots of this shock absorber.